welcome to Digital Shift, also known as Corporate Evolution Tales. Join us as we dive into the dynamic world of digital transformation. From illuminating case studies to captivating narratives, we uncover the stories behind companies' journeys toward digital excellence. Whether you are a seasoned corporate leader or an aspiring innovator, our podcast explores the shifts, challenges of modern business evolution. Hello everyone, this is another episode of Digital Shifts, aka Corporate Evolution Tales, and today with us is Richard. Hello Richard, thank you so much for joining today and being the guest of this podcast.
Well, thank you, Mariam. It's great to be here. I appreciate you having me.
Awesome. Well, let's dive into digital transformation. I think first question will be actually about your experience and what is your background. Would you like to present more about who you are?
Sure. Yeah, I've been an entrepreneur since I got out of the Marine Corps, U.S. Marine Corps in 87 and basically started working for myself shortly after that. And have been on that journey ever since. I had a very successful business my first 20 years until 2008, 2009. Things tended to collapse like a lot of things, a lot of reasons for that, mostly my fault, that I lost that business. So I actually had to start over. I lost everything, home included, 6 small children at that time and a wife, and started to climb back up that mountain. And that was a great journey, actually. It really got me in a position. Sometimes we get so good at what we do and we just kind of keep doing it. And I don't want to say I stopped innovating because I'm an innovator, but at the same time, everything's working, it's working, and you don't fix what's not broken, right? But sometimes as an owner, a founder, a visionary, you really got to look forward to what's coming. So that actually gave me the opportunity to start doing that, because I wanted to do things differently the second time. And I did that, multiple businesses. That was fantastic. And then I started helping other entrepreneurs build and scale their businesses, automate, systemize, do all that stuff too. So doing that is really give me a chance to see other businesses, how they operate, and see the patterns that most businesses create in the beginning, in the first 2 years. And then they kind of keep repeating the first 2 years for the next, 10 years. And that becomes a problem. So I got to come inside, be the outside eyes, and really help people change their business, prepare it to be scalable, right? Because everyone wants to grow their business to some extent, right? They want to make more, do more. So that was the challenge. And I created a really great program for that and can do that stuff. And like with what you do, Mariam, the digital transformation, this was all, so I got to be pre-internet, right? When I started. So there wasn't a lot of digital anything. You're barely sending emails back then, but now it's, now just seeing all that what's come now, it's really great to be able to look back 35 years and see what's happening today. And it's astounding. You would never have guessed this in the 80s, right? Like there's things, but no one could have, like what we can do now is just unbelievable in every level. And I just love having experienced both sides. So that's kind of brings us up to speed where we're at now. And I'm really happy with what I do and looking forward to sharing with you some great stuff.
Amazing. Well, I think even as you mentioned, like several years ago, even the combination of these words, digital transformation, it was something that really not many people understand the meaning. But now I think a lot of people are speaking actually about it. And that's why we are doing basically this podcast to understand better what's under digital transformation. So, Richard, what do you think about digital transformation? How people should understand it? What's the meaning of it?
Well, I really think part of it's automation. Okay. So you can use automation as a term that a lot of people can grasp, right? So I think what it does, the digital transformation enables us to, like we all want to do more, work less, kind of. Okay. It's not always work less.
Yes.
But we're able to be way more efficient, right? And what I love about it, it's duplicatable and scalable. Okay.
Yes.
That's the beauty of it. So what we always had the problem with early on, like in my career, was you had to contact one person at a time, either by phone or maybe you did a magazine ad or you didn't have email campaigns, automated email campaigns. You weren't capturing people's contact information. Like just imagine, I mean, maybe you can't because you're not as old as me, but just trying to get someone's phone number Okay. And then that's all you, or an address. So
Yeah.
we had to send them something in the mail, the literal mail, the snail mail. And it's a fascinating thing now what you can do by the tens and hundreds of thousands. You
Hmm.
can reach people globally, nationally, however you want to look at it, was just an impossibility back then, unless you were a massive corporation. So,
Hmm.
so many advantages. That's just a few of them.
Yeah, and all that within 1 minute. So, as you mentioned, like getting the email, it was not the easiest thing, but even getting it was taking so long. And now with reaching out with bulk emailing and all that stuff, it's just taking like a minute to send thousands of emails to the contacts that you selected or filtered, right?
You know what I was thinking is awesome we started doing was you can you can have your what we call the ICP, right? Your ideal client profile.
Mm-hmm.
So we all serve certain people, right? We have a niche, we have a certain client we're looking for. Again, that 25, 30 years ago, 20 years ago, maybe 15 years ago
Mm-hmm.
was like impossible to figure out how to get in front of them. Facebook kind of started doing it, right? Okay, we get lookalike audiences and all that. That was kind of cool. But now, and with AI, you literally can go and
Yeah.
like scrape Google for the specific business name, get a cell
Mm-hmm.
phone number, names, and then you can just go right into creating the email campaign for that individual person, right? And talk about their
Okay.
stuff. It's like,
Okay.
it's for pennies, for
Mm-hmm.
pennies. That's the
Yes.
beauty. So not only is it unbelievably efficient, but it's so inexpensive. It's just, Miriam, we used to have to spend like $3,000 to $5,000 to print flyers to take
Mm-hmm.
to a show to hand people that ended up in the trash
And you
before
are
they left,
paying
right?
those people
I mean, the
to share
money,
those flyers. Yes.
right? It's crazy what we had to do just to get in front of people, and hope they hold
Yes.
on to it. So again, the cost aspect is phenomenal. It's probably one of
Agree.
the, I'm going to say the greatest. It's got to be up in the top three of the
Mm-hmm.
advantage of the digital transformation for sure.
Definitely. And you mentioned about automation. So do you think that digital transformation is kind of about automating processes and improving them? Should people be afraid of it? Like, as we are usually speaking about AI, right? That it's dangerous for jobs themselves, like people losing jobs because of AI. Do you think that digital transformation can be not a benefit for people as having automated processes?
Yeah, I think so what we do as a company, we want to systemize your business, right? So obviously I'm dealing with
Mm-hmm.
owners, right? But what we want to do is we want to systemize the business, right? So we're still going to have
Yes.
people in there, but we need to make the process that they follow very easy, very
Mm-hmm.
duplicatable, because we always put people into a system. You don't put a system around a person. You don't build it around
Yes.
because all people leave, right? One way or
Mm-hmm.
another, they're going to leave. 5 months, 5 years, 20 years, 5 days, whatever it might be. So we need a system that works. So the hardest thing businesses have to do is build that systemization. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's grueling. Okay, if you don't know what you're doing as an owner, you don't have the bandwidth to do it. You're running
Yeah.
everything else in the business. So using AI, using the digital aspect, you can begin to create this transformation in your systemization
Mm-hmm.
process that what it's going to do is it's going to increase your profit, but it's also going to take the people that work in that system, they're going to be able to thrive. They're going to be able to run fast with the ball. And that's what you want. We don't want things that are cumbersome.
Exactly.
No one
Yeah.
who works for you wants that either. They want to do what
Mm-hmm.
they were hired to do, make it easy, let them be successful and reward them for being
Yeah.
successful that way. So initially with AI, Miriam, I thought like, okay, here we go, taking over the world. It can do, and I know what it can do, probably better
Mm-hmm.
than a lot of people. But at the same time, I'm like, okay, I'm not going to focus on the bad. There's a lot of good
Mm-hmm.
this thing can do. And as a business
Yes.
owner, let's take the good, let's use it properly, and let's make it work for us and our people, our teams. If you
Yes.
can do that, you just, and again, I'm not Mr. Early Adapter, but I get on as soon as I understand it, I'll get into it. And what it does for the business is, again, it's transformational for the business, and the
Yes.
people love it.
Agree.
Everyone's resistant to change. That's human
Mm-hmm.
nature, right? We all don't want to change, but boy, once you
Yeah.
do, you can't believe why did it take so long to do it.
So you mentioned about several elements of digital transformation, and I'm always asking about communication. I think it's for me, it's a part of digital transformation, and I think it's very important to have a good communication with people, even before starting the digital transformation. So it's all about like before kickoff, you are still discussing the plans, explaining why we are doing all that stuff, and so on. So do you think that one of the elements for successful digital transformation is also the communication in the company?
I think communication is probably the most critical element. This is where everybody drops the ball. And I'll give you a really unusual example of this in the construction industry. Okay.
Yeah.
Building homes, remodeling, things like that, right? Communication is the number one thing clients will complain about. You don't communicate well. They don't know what's going on, things like that, right? So what we did, we started taking this digital aspect and say, okay, how do we fix that? Because that's the number one complaint. Now, if it's the number one complaint across the board and no one's fixing it, well, is there a reason why they're not fixing it? They just don't care or whatever. But I don't think they really had the tools. They didn't understand what they're trying to do. So we brought the tools in where now the client can communicate through a portal, right? They don't have to call someone per se, so we've done that. So now when it comes in, now your team understands, have access to this portal. So you have multiple people that can answer it, right? We also can communicate inside there among the team, right? When you have the technology now to make that so simple, and that can be as easy as like Slack, voice to text, whatever you want to say. But communication is about ease of compliance. That's what I believe. If it's easy to communicate, you'll communicate. If communication is difficult or slow, like email is like low priority communication, right? Because most people aren't looking at responding right away. You get a text, you do tend to respond a lot faster, right? If you're in Slack, it's a business, or a Voxer. Voxer is a walkie-talkie app that we use for our coaching clients. So when that chirp, it's got a special chirp, right? You hear that, I go, okay, that's business. Now I know that's business. I have to answer that same business day, right? What a great tool. They don't have to wait till next week for a call, right? I can answer it 30 seconds. It's recorded. And then you're just on with your day. Their business gets to keep moving. It just revolutionizes how we coach. It's really awesome. So I think, again, back to communication is just so critical. And there isn't one, there isn't just inside the team. Everything you do is communication. How can that not be? But when you can up that game, you can make it easy and compliant. Your customers will love you. Your teams will love you. You'll get so much more done. It's really an amazing thing.
And I think they will understand you because as you mentioned as well, the changes, sometimes human beings, they are resisting the change automatically at the beginning because they are afraid of it. I think that's the main feeling that is coming with knowing that something new is there. So I think it's really about the communication and keeping everything transparent during that time. So it's like people have the information that they need in order to understand the decision that is made by the company, right? Amazing.
Yeah, that's a great point. And it's important. It's really important that people, again, it's communication. Even that's communication, right? Understanding. That's part of communication. You're not going to understand unless you can communicate it. So yeah, that's a good point.
Right. And how do you think we can identify the areas or processes that we can automate, or like we can start with those processes as for digital transformation? Do you have any suggestion on that?
Yeah, and this is going to seem really simple and rudimentary, but like, what's your biggest problem? Start with your biggest problem, and you're going to find a solution, right? Because you may, I'm struggling to find a solution, but you're not looking at a digital solution. Because wherever your mind is and how you've done things to now, again, you're resistant to change naturally, but you're also not thinking, what's another possibility? It's like brainstorming, right? We just want to put stuff on the board. It doesn't matter what it is. We want to get 25 things on the board. Then we'll start erasing ones that don't have a chance of working, and we'll get down and you'll be amazed at what gets thrown out there. Right. And so I think that's what you really do. Look for your biggest challenge and work your way backwards down to the simplest thing. Or if your biggest challenge is like too overwhelming, start with the little things, flip it the other way, fix the little things and the next little thing. Because all of a sudden you got 5 or 7 little things, that becomes a big thing. And you start to get control. And now you also build confidence in its ability to solve your problems. So, 2 ways to attack that.
Yeah, definitely. And So, based on your experience, do you have any examples of major challenges or lessons learned that you think is worth to share with our audience?
I think for me, Mariam, it was really about it really was the challenge of embracing it. And let's talk about email automation. Okay, just something really simple like that. We have to go back not too far, but it's like, and it all sounds easy.
Mm-hmm.
Someone tells you to do it, it sounds really easy,
Right.
but there's always work. It's always work, right? There's always a
Mm-hmm.
challenge in the setup
Yeah.
because you might have specific things you need to address, and this is too general. And it's like I tell people about accountants. As you grow your
Mm-hmm.
business, you're going to go through different accountants because they're only going to be able to serve you at a certain level. You're going to have to get the next guy, right? So
Right.
digital is the same thing. So how do we
Mm-hmm.
get to solve my challenge was, well, how do I build an email campaign and then go from
Mm-hmm.
here to here? And then what if they do this? And how does it drop? I started thinking about what I wanted to do with it, what I needed to do. I'm like, there's no way something does that,
Mm-hmm.
but there is, right? But my struggle, Miriam, was really dedicating the time to get that figured out.
Right.
I really would have liked someone else to be able to do that, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
being an entrepreneur, I'm like, someone needs to create a business that they do this for owners. I'll come in and I'll set it up. I'll do it for you. I'll handle the
Yeah.
technical end. I mean, I can write emails, which you don't have to do anymore. We got AI, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
a great creative writer. But then putting all that so that it works,
Mm-hmm.
that was the big hurdle for me. It was really hard because you get a couple out, then some tag would be in there and you get bumped off and
Yeah.
it doesn't work. And now you've lost this. And it was, again, it seems very simple, and again, they made improvements too, right? So everything has to start at a
Mm-hmm.
place and then it all gets better, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that was probably my best example. It was really difficult to do the work.
Mm-hmm.
We all know if you put the work in early, then it's automated and systemized,
Yeah.
you're good now for 5 years,
Mm-hmm.
10 years, or whatever. So, but that was for me really challenging.
So 24 hours was not enough for you to manage the digital shift on that part.
Right. It's really something and I've learned to really lean on other people because again,
Mm-hmm.
this digital world, what can we do now? Right? We can outsource. We have
Mm-hmm.
Upwork, you have even Fiverr, you have all this stuff. That's digital
Right.
transformation. That's connecting with
Mm-hmm.
someone in Pakistan to do logos for you. That's someone
Yeah.
in the Philippines to be a virtual assistant. I mean, it's like, that's what's so awesome about it.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're able to literally help other economies in the world,
Right.
still save money. And these are qualified people. This isn't just some guy in a hut or
Yes,
something. I mean, these
exactly.
are these are qualified people who do incredible work for you.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're young in business, also it's an amazing way to get a leg up and you really get going to
Mm-hmm.
systemize and automate your business. So many advantages.
Agree. So I think that there is another question that is rising in this case. Is it about having experienced team for digital transformation, or it's about the amount of people that you have so you can assign the task? So what do you think? Is it about experience or the amount of people?
I think today, so you're going to have to cross the bridge here because you've got experienced people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And someone who's really going to be a subject matter expert in what you're trying to do digitally, they're probably not going to be in house. Okay.
Yeah.
The cost of that individual to work for you, they're not going to be in house. So you're going to have to contract out. And that's actually
Mm-hmm.
really good for you as a business owner. It's a set
Right.
amount. They do a set thing and they're done. So
Mm-hmm.
you know the expense. It's not an ongoing payroll issue to keep
Mm-hmm.
someone on board. I don't have to have 4 software engineers on the payroll, playing around making up
Right.
stuff. So you can really easily go find those SMEs, bring them in, settle on
Mm-hmm.
a contract price and the scope of work, get it done, and keep moving. Trying to have that in house, I've seen that a lot. A lot of people try to get these in house, whether it's marketing or whatever. In most
Mm-hmm.
businesses, you are so far away from that time
Mm-hmm.
you have to be a sizable company to get in-house marketers and in-house,
Yeah.
even your automation stuff, So
Mm-hmm.
I definitely encourage people to subcontract that, bring it in,
Agree.
'cause that way you can get the best. And it's going to
Yes.
usually be right the first time, usually.
Right. Well, I think remote work generally after COVID specifically, it's kind of like improved itself in the understanding of that hiring managers, they understood better how they can manage even being remotely with the team, and the communication, quality of work. It is not basically struggling when you have good management, that you are still able to manage even if the team is remote. So yeah.
Yeah, I
Awesome.
agree. And I think you're right with the whole COVID experience. We only get stuff done by necessity, right?
Mm-hmm.
Necessity is the mother of invention, right? So we
Yes.
had to figure out a way. No one's
Mm-hmm.
coming in, so let's figure this out. And things really accelerated at that point. You can track that right to the, the
Yeah.
release of the virus. But it was so businesses got it together to save themselves and figured out how useful a tool this is, because we were
Mm-hmm.
using it before that, but it was kind of a novelty almost,
Mm-hmm.
But then again, when now everybody now is normal, having a Zoom call is
Yes.
like the normal way to communicate now. When before it was, 'cause I started using Zoom in like 2014. It was
Mm-hmm.
horrible. Okay, it was awful. But you had this rough, terrible video call, But look at all the improvements they did. They became a leader,
Yeah.
right? See, they hung in there and they did it. So many good things.
Agree. And as you mentioned Zoom, so my another question that I would like to give you is about technologies that there are. So you mentioned about communication and using specific tools for better communication during digital transformation. Are there any other tools that are coming to your mind when we are saying digital transformation?
Let's see. Boy, I found I'll use an easy one that most people probably use now is like a Calendly, right? Scheduling
Mm-hmm.
tools. Now there's
Yes.
even better. Lemcal's another one, right? Lemcal is really good.
Mm-hmm.
What I did with that, which is really great, I took a video. So if I'm email marketing and I'm doing outbound and I want someone to, hey, book a call with me or let's talk, I give them a reason. Hey, you
Mm-hmm.
spend 8 minutes, watch a video about this topic that they're suffering from. Well, the beauty of that now, that video is on my scheduling page. So they click the
Yeah.
link I give them, takes them to the 8 minute video. They don't have to go anywhere when I say book a call. They slide the
Mm-hmm.
mouse over and click. Now, that seems innocuous right now to most people, but like, you don't know how amazing that is. Because every time they leave a page and make another click, every click is
Yes.
a chance for abandonment. So it makes it
Agree.
so easy. Compliance again, right? Communication.
Mm-hmm.
Book is very simple. It's right there on the same page. So things like that. Instantly is another one for email and
Yeah.
and collecting so many. Wow, it's just there's so much. It's hard to really nail it
Yes.
down,
Agree.
but whatever you want to do, I almost can guarantee 100% you can do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like even think like kind of crazy. Like what if I could do that? Well, it's probably there.
Yes. Yes.
Remember the old thing, there's an app for that. Everything has an app.
Mm-hmm.
There's
Mm-hmm.
so much that can be done. So
Yes.
many incredible things. We've got a new about the digital stuff. My son and a friend, we've come up with something. I can't really get into what it is, but
Mm-hmm.
just think like LinkedIn, Facebook level. That's what we're creating.
Cool.
Okay, something at that level, very unique.
Amazing.
But again, using these simple tools that I use, now we're going into coding and all this other stuff. But
Yes.
it's pretty fascinating what's coming down. The ability for us to do it,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that's what's exciting. Like all the
Right.
tools are there to make these really big things happen. Little things are important too for the average business, but you can
Sure.
create some really, really big things, and that's exciting for an entrepreneur.
Yes. Well, one of the tools that I really enjoy is called Loom. It's basically a tool that is allowing you to record videos. And as you mentioned about communication, I think visual communication is also very important when you are not basically like you can record your video easily, even without having any call, and share it with a public link to anyone so they can just check the video rather than do the call, discuss stuff. They can comment on it, they can react on it. So as you mentioned, like there are so many tools that are like on advanced level that are really helping with with digital transformations.
Yeah,
Awesome.
Loom. I can't remember. I can't believe I didn't even think of that. Because so I have all my clients use Loom as
See,
part of
right?
systemization. Because
Yes.
what we do is we use it and we keep them to like 1 minute screen recording. So let's say
Mm-hmm.
you're showing you want to demonstrate how to send an invoice in
Mm-hmm.
payables, right? Click,
Yes,
click, click. You're talking right on it. Done. 1
exactly.
minute or less. very descriptive name of what it is. Put it in like a Dropbox, right? There's another tool.
Yes.
Put it in the Dropbox to the link. If someone's new there or someone wants to know how to do it, they go open it up. They find it. They click on it. They never talk to the owner. They can watch it 5 times till they get it. They see the actual mouse moving and clicking on. You're right. That's genius. It's simple genius is what that is. It really, and I'm glad you said that, because how could that go from my head? But what an incredible, there's a bunch of them, right? There's a screen Castify and all these different ones, but wow, are they just awesome? Yeah, they really are.
And they're all helping with the process of automating stuff and all that. Amazing. Well, I think this will be last question. And of course, it is about the advice. So based on your experience, what will be the advice to other companies or individuals that want to start digital transformation?
Go slow. Don't try to eat the whole elephant in one bite. Take some bites. Like I said, maybe start with some small things. If you're really most people have used some form of it now, right? It's that common, like you said, in the last 4 years especially. But let's think about, again, start with easy things. Loom is a great example. You can get that. It's like free to start, and you just click and record and go, this is too easy. You can put yourself in, you can use a camera, not the camera. Start doing things like that, and you have to embrace it. I wouldn't run super hard in the beginning. Just, that was good. That really worked. And then it's going to build your own confidence in bringing that kind of stuff on. And here's the beauty of it, Mariam. I think what's so cool about it is they made everything low barrier to entry. So you get a free trial, or you get it's $10 a month to use it. That kind of, I'm telling you, that's what that would have been thousands back in the day. Someone created that first one. You're going to pay for all the development and everything else that they had to go through. Right. So now it's like, it's so accessible, so inexpensive for any size business, from solopreneur to, Fortune 500. I mean, so I would just begin to embrace it, and it'll change your life over the next year or two. You will love what your business is able to do without you as an owner.
Yes, definitely. Well, thank you so much. Are there any last words that you would like to mention, Richard?
I think we just said it. I think that, and again, I'm a guy who's not an early adopter, but once I get into it, I can see the full advantage, right? So you can do the toe in the water thing, do it, start using it again, and then keep moving forward with that. It'll change your business. I just highly recommend. Do not think we definitely know it's not a fad. We know it's not evil, right? Let's make it for good. Let's do this stuff, put it together so we can automate your business in a way that'll just make all of your team's lives better. So this isn't just self-serving as an owner. It's going to make everyone on the team so grateful to you for letting them build something like this.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much. Thank you for sharing your experience and being the guest for this episode. And have a great day.
Thank you. You too. Thanks for having me.